Hi everyone, welcome to Surgery Dada. So today we have a case of irreducible epigastric hernia. Basically this is an incisional hernia. So this is an incision, a type of a transverse incision which was placed to remove the gallbladder. So this incision is lot old, 26 years back, because nowadays we use a standard Cocker's incision. But anyways, now she is presented to us with irreducible hernia, and this is the map. Before starting the surgery, we have to do the mapping of the mesh. So for the transfascial fixation, we are taking this. The defect should be covered with the mesh, and along with that additional 2 to 4 centimeters extra area should be done. So let us see how this surgery follows. Nexus technique. In this, you will have to lift it, and now you can see an inframumbilical pit. I'll just stab it. The next is release the clamps. Take a mosquito, many a times be some adhesions. Next is hold the virus like a dart. Remember, lift once you engage it, lift the abdominal wall perpendicular to one wall, 30 degree to another. One click and another click. No, it is not there. So the entire length of virus has gone inside. It's a big bariatric category virus we have used, and that is why I'm holding it. You can show the pressure. So now at this much of pressure, there is loss of liver dullness. Just see, there is loss of liver dullness. This is the second sign, and we are using an endopath XL. Just see, the scope will go inside, it will get locked, and now we'll take it perpendicular. So just see, you have to negotiate between the layers. It will go 1 minute. Negotiating between the layers. You come on this side. Yeah, now you can see this reddish muscle has been cleared and whitish hue of the peritoneum, and you are inside the abdomen. Yes. Now idhar dekho. Unlock the take out the scope, the trocar, connect the gas, and let us start the surgery. So this, let us do the diagnostic at the site where we have entered. So this is very important. We often, you can see now we have gone inside. This is the big hernia that we have. Harmonic lagaya? Okay. So almost nothing is visible. This is the liver. On this side, stomach is also not visible. Maybe a part of this. So we'll start the surgery. Okay. Chalo. Move up. No, reverse normal rakho. Okay. So now whenever we have such a thing, you cannot start from this end because we don't know. So andar, move inside. Always understand that white is a surgeon friendly tissue. Small bites, small errors. This is a famous dictum in field of surgery. Always remember, cut the white. Andar, yeah. Andar idhar lo. So when you detach some white fibers, there is a gravitational pull also of the viscera. Weight of the viscera will itself pull it down. Move inside. So staying towards the abdominal wall, taking gentle steps at a time, still not knowing where the defect is, what are the contents. Let us explore it with the time. So this is all mesenteric fat, omental fat. Chalo, andar. They're just trying to negotiate the planes first. Then we shall appreciate where is the defect. Can you see this proline? This is a sign of non-absorbable suture which was used for what? Closure. So that means we are just somewhere near the defect. This is the proline. So 26-year-old heritage proline. Okay. Gentle traction prevents unnecessary tear of the mesenteric capillaries. Otherwise, they tend to ooze a lot. and when they ooze, they disturb you in your field of dissection. Under. Okay. If you don't have a harmonic, you can use a hook also in these cases with a low setting, or a bipolar in case if you encounter a vessel. Under. Why it's a surgeon friendly tissue? Just see, once you cut it, it exposes you to one more set of white tissues. But if you go to a wrong plane, you're always, now you can see we have the glimpse of the liver. So under. Trying to negotiate the planes. Yeah, we have still found it. Either look. Now here we have to be extra cautious. Just take the ignition. Now you can see we have started to dissect the main hernial site. Now the white flimsy fibers are the surgeon friendly tissues, and we always need to respect that plane. You can see with the harmonic scalpel, I am trying to just cut off these white flimsy fibers. Now these are surgeon friendly tissues, and thus the vascular communications are rare in them. There is dense adhesion with the surface of the liver, and meticulous dissection helps us separate them from the parietus without any extravasation of the blood, so there is no bleeding. The surgical site is absolutely neat and clean, and it all depends upon the plane you are entering. Entering into wrong plane will always cause a lot of bleeding. So with some sweeping maneuvers and using the ultrasonic shears, it helps us to navigate freely through them. Now we have almost done the perihernial sac separations. So why I am doing these adhesiolysis? Because once the adhesions are removed, there will be some gravity generated by the viscera, and this will allow the contents to fall further. So these adhesions keep the content adhered. Now you can understand why we have so much of adhesions in this plane, because this is a patient with open cholecystectomy via paramedian incision, or you can say via transverse incision, sorry. So that is why these are old adhesions as a result, as a consequence of the surgery. So majority of the things have been cleared. Now you can see this is the classic hernial sac, and taking the fibers in a very, you can say, sweeping and gentle maneuvers. Why I am doing so? Because during the physical clinical inspection of this patient, there were a lot of gurgling sounds from the hernial sac, so that indicates that bowel might be there. So taking small gentle steps at a time, giving a controlled traction with the bowel grasper, first giving a traction, then again releasing it, taking it again with another grasper, and then finally trying to navigate it with the shears. Remember, slow and small steps minimizes the chances of errors. When you are handling the bowel, you should be extra cautious, even though we have the best of the energy sources. But yes, you have to use your wisdom so that you don't damage the structures, until unless you are double sure that okay, the structures that you are the things that you are cutting down are the adhesion bands. You should wait and watch. So when we do a you can say hernial adhesiolysis, majority of the contents, they become loose and they are now ready to fall down. So always remember, in such cases, try to locate the neck of, or you can say the neck of the sac, and remove the adhesions from there, because in the center the contents are not adhered. It is just on the periphery or on the entrance of the hernial cavity where you have these adhesions. So you can see almost we have negotiated a lot, and we are just looking for the white fibers and doing the adhesiolysis, localizing them. You can see almost we are anytime we might see the cavity complete, and the contents which have obliterated the cavity will fall down. So there are still some adhesions. We'll try to relocate. Now you can see they've almost fallen down. The bowel has gone down. Now this is the mesenteric fat, and just see the fluid that was there. So this was an encysted, you can say, hernia with the content, and the accumulation of fluid demonstrate that yes, it was strangulated to some extent. And this is the phase after this is the phase of alarm, after which there could be perforations also noted in such cases. So now it is just the falciform. You can see the left lateral lobe and the left medial you can say segment. So it is all about to be removed. Now only falciform ligament is left. So once we release the falciform ligament, the liver will also fall down, and we will also get a lot of space to put and fix the mesh. So almost we are done, and we are into the last steps of maneuver. So you can see the falciform ligament getting divided, and the entire surgery goes you can say without any bleeding. Thankful to ultrasonic shears for such a beautiful technology that helps us. So now you can see the stomach, the bowel which has fallen down, all the contents, and this was the part which has gone into the hernial sac, and there are no adhesions. We'll further try to mobilize some more amount of liver by dividing the falciform, so that we get a sufficient space for the mesh to be fixed. So falciform has been divided, and now the liver is also not having any traction, and the mesh can be fixed. Hernia surgery is all about the patience, and we need to dissect the structures finely so that we get a sufficient space. So this is the defect that we have. Now we will be doing a closure. So we will be doing a primary closure of the space. You can see the cavity. We have given some external pressure also, so there is nothing. With a full curvature needle, I am going to do a primary repair of the hernia site. Now you can see when you are taking bites on the roof of the abdomen, many times technically it becomes very challenging. So I would recommend the cable to be pointed at 6 o'clock. But in that case, you often get to face mirror imaging. So the technique has to be met with lot of precision. So we have taken one bite. The suture that we are using is a number 1 ethibond. So that's a non-absorbable braided suture, because it has less memory, so it is easy. So again we are going to take a couple of more bites, and we are just going to tie it. You can see already we have taken 2 or 3 bites we have taken. Now it's time to tie the suture. Now whenever we talk about the knot, in this case we would always, or everyone in that case, should go for a tumble square. So tumble square is quite different from the standard square knot. It's not a 2 plus 1 2C plus 1 reverse C. It's a 1C, again a 1 reverse C, then you tumble and tighten it up. The ideology behind this tumble square is that we have to first let the knot loose, and then we will stretch the, you can say, the ends, and then slide it. Once it is secured, then we'll give one more hitch to give an add-on security. Now in this case, since this is an epigastric hernia and patient is already having some respiratory complication, as far as our experience is concerned, if we tighten it too much, there is lot of post-operative pain. So we're not going to tighten it too much. The ideology is to just approximate the hernia, you can say hernia side, and now we are going for a final extra hitch. So this secures the knot completely. We could have completely obliterated the cavity also, which we do in case of umbilical hernias, but in high epigastric hernias, it might always cause a severe post-operative pain, and it might also cause post-operative respiratory distress with pleural effusion because of atelectasis, as the patient takes lot of efforts in taking breath. So we have taken the mesh that we are using is a combination of monocryl and the polyester. So you can say proline and monocryl. The bench work has already been done, so we have put up the 4 transfascial sutures. Now in order to fix this mesh to the abdomen, so we have introduced a suture passer and we have got the hold of the sutures. So this will help us to bridge the suture in between the abdominal wall. You can see externally we are going to tighten it up, and this gives a transfascial fixation. Now giving the final edge to the surgery, we have got the absorbable tackers and we are doing the outer crowning first. Again, in this case we are doing some modification from the standard. Towards the rib cage side, we are not firing a lot of tackers. It has been an experience that if we put lot of tackers in case of epigastric hernia, since the mesh is going towards the rib cage area, if we put too much of tackers, it causes many a times entrapment of the intercostal, you can say subcutaneous nerves, and that is again a cause of pain and post-operative pleural effusion as the lung movements are severely jeopardized. So you can see the surgery has been done. We had some complications during the surgery. Patient developed severe bradycardia during the surgery, so we had to expedite the process. Anyways, the patient, the surgery went uneventful in total, and the patient successfully was discharged on the day 2 of the surgery. So this was a 68-year-old female with lot of you can say comorbidities. And thank you for watching this. You can see the abdomen, you can see the diaphragm, you can see the liver. Everything has been done. The mesh has been placed at its position, and the surgery has been completed in a very short span of time. So the only thing that we need to understand is respect the white